Hey viewers, today I am going to overhaul the Sturmey Archer coaster brake. It's a Model SC and date code was 74, so it was made in 1974. For my regular viewers, yeah, I've been doing a bunch of these hub videos. Right now it is sub-freezing out in my garage, so I'm limited on space, but I'm also having a lot of fun overhauling these hubs, so bear with me. Hopefully you're still enjoying them. So I'm going to start off by removing this cog here. There's a little split ring here holding it on. So what I need to do is find a little slot here, kind of pry it out here, and kind of get it up over there like that. And then I can just kind of pry it up out of this slot. And there's the ring right there, so I'll stick it aside. And then I can slide off this cog there. Pay attention to the direction that it went on. The curved part was out, so we want to put that back on the same way. And then also spacers. Sometimes there'll be spacers on the outside. Sometimes there's spacers on the inside. On this one, there's 2 spacers to the inside of that. And they're both solid ones there like that. So I'll go ahead and put those aside like that. Now I'm going to remove the axle nut here and washer. Yeah, I'll remove the axle nut and washer on the other side too. Get those out of the way. And put those aside. And now there's this little lock nut here. I'll remove this lock nut. Use some pliers, kind of grab this here and unscrew it. And then put that aside. Now I'm going to place the little square end of the axle here into a vise. Just kind of hold that there to keep the axle from turning. And I'll just clamp that in there like this. And then I'm going to use the brake arm here to unscrew the cone. And so once I get that going here, now I can just unscrew this. And I can slide this up here like this. I'll put this aside. Then I can take the bearings out here. Then I can lift the little brake out here like this and set this aside. Then I can lift the shell off here. And then there's this part. Now here, there's multiple little rollers here. So I'm going to set these aside. And there's some bearings. And there's a little ring here. And it looks like there's some more bearings in here which I'll have to pop out. And then there's the axle. And this cone unscrews there like that. And then this little brake shoe here, this part comes out like this. And then there's like a little metal sleeve on here like this. And then this part here, there's like a dust ring that pops off of there like that. And then with this part here, I want to pull these bearings out of here. So I'm going to put this loosely into my vise here, just kind of hold it. And then using a screwdriver, I want to pry this little retainer ring out of here. Just carefully pry that out like this. and then I can remove these bearings there, and then I can clean all these parts. Okay, I cleaned these parts up pretty well, so now I'm going to start putting it back together. I'm going to take these bearings here and I'm going to pack them with grease. I'm using marine grease, and I'm just going to squirt some grease in between all the little ball bearings here. And then I'm going to put a little bit of grease down into this race down here. And then I'll set the bearings down in here. I want the flat side of the cage facing up like that. And then I have this little ring here that kind of held them in. And so I want the kind of the open side here facing down. That's how it was before. So I'm going to take the hammer and just tap this down. Like that, and so it's flush with the top of there. Okay, now I'm ready to start putting this together. I'm going to start off with the axle, and I have the cone here tightened all the way onto the axle here, and I'm going to take this little square end of the axle here and lock it into the vise to hold it there so that I can work on it. Now I'm going to take this part here, and it's got the bearings in there, so I want to slide this over the axle so the bearings are resting on this cone down here. And so it slides like that. And then I'm going to take one of the larger bearings here, and I'm going to pack these with grease in between all the bearings. And then I'm going to slide this down over here, and I want the flat side of the cage facing down like this. Then I'm going to put a little bit of grease up against this part here in these little spaces here. Like this. And then I'm going to take these little rollers here and then just slide these in there, and the grease will hold these in place like that. Up. And then they're all spaced out here like that. And then I'm going to take this part here, and I'll put a little bit of grease in there, around in here too. And then I'm going to slide this down over this, and those little rollers here are going to fit into these slots. So just slide it over like that. So then that should be able to rotate back and forth like that. So now I have these brake parts here, and I want to lube these up, but for these I'm going to use a high temp grease. The brake parts, like the brakes in coaster brakes, can get very, very hot, and so you want to have them lubricated, and regular grease will just like burn off. It'll just turn liquid and melt and everything like that. So you want to use a high temp grease, so that's what I'm going to use. And so I want to lube all the inside here just with this high temp grease to the inside here. And then I have this little part here, so I'll put a little bit of grease around here and just get a bunch of grease onto here. Get nice and lubed up here. And I get a little bit of grease around the outside of these shoes here, and you think, oh, this is going to make it slippery and you're not going to be able to brake, but no, you need it there, and this is the way it's supposed to be. Okay, so now I have these little tabs here on the top here. I'm going to slide this other part down in through the bottom like that. And then before I put this part on here, I'm going to go ahead and just squeeze a little bit of the marine grease down around here onto these parts, so these parts slide nice and well, like that. And then I'm going to take this part here and then just slide it down on this, and then these little ramps will mesh up with these ramps down here, like that. Now I'm going to slide the shell down over here, and I'm going to put a little bit of grease down into this race down here where the bearings will go. Like that, and there's already grease on the bearings there. And so this little rounded part here, that's going to go to the top. So slide this down over here like this. And so it should be fitting nice and smoothly on those bearings there. And then I've got these bearings here. I'm going to squeeze in a little bit of grease in between all the little balls here in the cage. Going to pack the cage with grease. You can always replace the bearings at this point, if you have it torn apart if you want to, and put fresh bearings in there. Okay, I'm going to put these bearings down in there, and I want the flat side facing up of the cage, just like that. And so now I'm ready to put this in there. I can maybe put a little bit of grease down around here like this, around the race here, because this is going to go against the bearings. Now this is going to go down in there, and these little slots here are going to mesh with the little tabs on the breakdown there. So I'm going to slide this down here and try to get that meshed up, and then I'm going to screw the cone onto the axle like this. And I can fit this over here like this. And I can use this as a wrench to tighten the cone down. And you don't want it too tight. You want it to so it'll turn smoothly against the bearings there. But then you don't want a lot of play either. So you want to kind of tighten this down so you only have a slight bit of play in there, but that it still turns, and you don't have it so it's really rough against the bearings. And just a touch of play there. So at this point, you can take this little lock nut, and when you put this arm on here, you want to have the Sturmey Archer logo facing out. And then screw this on. And then tighten this lock nut here against there. Then check again. Check for play, check for smoothness. Like that. And it shouldn't be totally free, because the high temp grease in there is a little sticky, and once you start riding on the hub, it'll loosen up quite a bit. And also with a whole big wheel on the outside, there'll be less resistance. So like just with the hub like this, it's not going to be totally smooth. I mean, just totally free. It should be smooth though. Got that into place. Now flip the hub over. I'm going to take this little ring here and slide that down into here, around there like that. And then take this little seal here and then snap this down around here like that. So that'll be on there like that. Now I'm going to take these two spacers that I had, slide these down over there like that. Take my cog, and I'm going to have it so that the it's curved out on the outside there, because that's the way it was. Then I'm going to take this little split ring and work on snapping it down in around there to hold that on there. I can take the little washer there and the nut, the axle nut, put it on the other side here, washer, the axle nut. Now to test it out, if I turn the cog forward, it should be nice and free, spins like that, but if I turn it backwards, it locks up into place there like that. So I turn it forward, turn it back, and it locks. And so it's working. Anyway, nice and smoothly. Anyway, I hope you found this useful or interesting. If you did, please click like. I always appreciate getting likes on my videos, and it helps me out. And if you're not subscribed to my channel, click the big yellow subscribe button, and you'll see new videos as they come out. I'm always coming out with like bikes videos on all kinds of different things. And I'm over on Facebook. If you want to connect with me over there, go over to Facebook, like my page, RJ the Bike Guy. I post a lot of bike stuff over there. Anyway, thank you very much for watching.